And you can tell everybody this is your song. It may be quite different, but now that's done, I hope you don't mind. I hope you don't mind that I put down in the words how wonderful life is when you're in the world, and how wonderful it is that once again you join me for the hardest part of the ring. We're talking about the NXT Hulu edition, the Hulu edition, $7.99 a month with limited commercial interruptions and your favorite TV and movies, plus original programming exclusive to Hulu only. Hulu, it's TV in the palm of your hand. The Hulu edition of WWE NXT, January 27th of 2021. Thanks for joining me once again. We're talking about NXT. Hulk Hogan slams Andre the Giant at the top of this. The place goes crazy, and then Freddie Blassie shakes his cane. And that's what happens in the opening every single time. And how do we open NXT? By taking their big sweaty package and slapping you in the face with it. Big, sweaty, oily, greasy, barely clothed package. Slapping you in the ear. We talk about the fight pit from the previous week, where apparently on 205, Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher, they became friends, but it's unfortunate that it happened on 205 because nobody saw it. And then in the same package that's dangling off your chin, Finn Balor and Kyle O'Reilly are going to be a tag team against the current NXT Tag Team Champions, Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan, but it's not going to be for the Tag Team Championships, and it won't be for Finn's Heavyweight Championship, and Kyle is the guy there, doesn't have a championship, and I used to think Kyle O'Reilly was Irish, because I had that in my head because of his name, until like 6 months ago when he started talking, and I realized I was wrong the whole time. That's just what I heard. He's like Irish-American. He's just some guy. He's just some fucking guy. Oh, what happens? Speaking of Irish, Killian Dane and Drake Maverick, who is not Irish Drake, but Killian is, I think. They're in the ring, and they're doing a stupid dance. And man, this would suck if there was a live audience there. They fight the Midget Street crew. The Midget Street, MSK is back. I have to apologize. It was a bit insensitive of me on this podcast and on Twitter to call them the Midget Street Crew, a la the Bone Street Crew or BSK of The Undertaker's old anti-click or what have you. Midget Street Crew was insensitive, and that was in poor taste on my part, so I am sorry about that. We're going to call them Memorial Sloan Kettering after the New York City Cancer Hospital. That's a more fitting name. Memorial Sloan Kettering wrestles Killian, Drake, Maverick, Dane, those guys who aren't friends, but they are, and one's big and one's small, and one's hairy and one's pretty, I guess. I don't understand. So we had to watch MSK wrestle again, and they still do the shoving moonsault, which is stupid. And then they have, so these are two babyface tag teams. I don't know who I'm supposed to get behind. I get behind the timekeeper, because I want him to speed things up, or her. I don't know who's keeping time. The time person. Even though timekeeper is still gender neutral. The time person, I don't care. And the referee person, to count 1, 2, 3. Memorial Sloan Kettering is victorious. Cancer wins again, and Cancer advances to a different stage of the Dusty Cup. It's a cup that is covered with dust and dirt. Match gets 14 stars. 14 stars. I don't remember much about this match. I watched it. My eyeballs were open, and my ears were open, and I was paying attention to the visual and audio senses that came out of Hulu with limited commercial interruption, but I don't remember too much about this match, except they did that stupid shoving moonsault, and they do some kind of spine buster, blockbuster combo thing to pin Drake Maverick, and very good. Great. Kurt Stallion is who the fuck is Kurt Stallion? But he's talking to a blonde lady about stars and eyeballs and Texas, and he's got a southern accent. And I guess he's going to wrestle later against the cruiserweight champion, the Espinata guy or whatever it is. He's going to fight. I don't know the guy's name. I don't know the name of the 205 champion. I know Jordan Devlin, the other N205 champion. Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez are fighting Aaliyah and someone else. And, it's Camilla. I forgot her first name. Her last name is Camilla. And I was hoping Camilla would do technical maneuvers so the announcers could say she was put on a Cameo clinic. But they didn't. But it looks like Cameo did not cut the mustard. Cut the mustard, do you get it? Oh, man. That was good. That's rich. It's good writing. Cut the mustard. Well, can't do puns this whole time. I guess we can't spend the whole day playing catch-up. Playing catch-up. Oh, man, I relish the opportunity. Okay, enough. I sandwiched that one right in between these. Okay, enough. All right. What happened? These are two heel teams. Did anyone notice a pattern? We had two babyface tag teams fight each other, only to go to break. In the Hulu edition, maybe there was something in between, to have two heel teams fight each other, but it wasn't long. Gonzalez looked dominant here. Dakota's very good. I lost my place. Aaliyah was there. They have a manager, which is still Robert Stone. I thought it was a different guy because I didn't recognize him. Robert Stone is a manager only to manage Aaliyah, who I have no problem with, but she's an undercard female wrestler who's not really on TV a whole lot. So I don't know the last time I saw her win a match, if I ever have seen her win a match on TV. But he only manages one person. Like, wouldn't he? Ah, okay. That's important. Good thing he's here. And why would you keep him as your manager? What the hell's he doing for you? Oh, well. With that said, I think Kamea was spread a little thin. Okay. Gonzalez pins one of them with the boob slam. And then the Garganos are talking to a blonde lady. And Austin Theory acts dumb. And he has to back off when Johnny Gargano gets mad, even though he's like 7 inches taller than him. And then Scarlett is speaking gibberish and my underwear moved again. And then Finn Balor is talking to the blonde lady. And Kyle O'Reilly, something happens with Kyle O'Reilly. Why did I write that down? I don't know. I guess he was talking to her too, I guess. I forget. The grizzled young veterans are fighting Kushida and Leon Ruff. And if the grizzled young veterinarians, which is nice of them, and I understand how stressful it can be to save animals' lives, so I understand why they're grizzled. Why weren't they in charge most of the match? They're the established team. They're the ones who've been tagging together for, according to this show, a decade and change or whatever the hell it is. So I don't understand. They've been established on NXT UK, so it's still NXT-ish. There's clearly a trade-off because the NXT show has the Grizzled Young Vets, Imperium people. It's got Finn Balor. It's got Danny Burch. It's got Pete Dunne, who's in a main event scene right now. Yeah. Oh, it's got Drake Maverick, who's British, and Killian Dane, who's Irish. And it's got Memorial Sloan Kettering, who gives cancer. So, I don't understand. Oh, and the women, oh my god, there's UK women all over the place. Dakota, Rhea, Tony, take your pick. Of those, the Raquel, take your pick of those four. I don't know. The UK just kind of bled over. What happened to the American talent? Oh, that's right, we're all dead from a pandemic. Too dark. Oh, Leon Ruff's stuff is way too cooperative. His impressive rope to rope flipping around, soap on a rope deal is it's very fancy, but man, there's way too much dancing and hand holding going on for Leon's offense. I wasn't feeling it. To my surprise, the grizzled veterinarians won this thing. I think, and like I said, the Dusty Cup is really an excuse to. It's a vehicle to advance angles. It's not really a thing you win. Notice they haven't said, like, did they say that the female winners of the Dusty Cup get anything? I assume they get a women's tag title shot just because the men are getting one at the NXT champs. But have they said that on TV? I'm not sure. So what are they fighting for? Unless I missed it. But, okay. But have the women's tag team champions, Asuka and Charlotte, ever once on TV addressed their concern or their watchful eye over the Dusty Cup women's tournament? No. They don't care. They don't even talk to each other. They're doing other things. One's chasing around a Southern Belle trying to have sex with her dad, and the other one's watching Alexa Bliss change outfits in a split second. So, you tell me. Not a crazy man. Not a crazy man. I'm not a goddamn lunatic, I'll tell you that right now. There's a doomsday device in here. I think the grizzled young veterans did the doomsday device. And they defeated Leon Ruff, not with that, with their wacky maneuver. They pinned Leon Ruff, and now Kushida's free to wrestle Johnny Gargano for the North American thing. This is going to be one of the few. This is going to be one of the few matches whenever this happens. One of the few Gargano matches I actually want Gargano to win, because I don't think the Back to the Future thing. I don't know why that's so obnoxious to me. I like the original movie just fine, but I don't know why. It's just so specific. Like, okay. And 35 years ago, okay. The Way attacks, okay, so the Garganos, and they lay everybody out. But then Dexter Lumis stares at Austin Theory and makes him run away, and Gargano backs off Dexter Lumis, so maybe they're going to move away from Kushida, and Kushida won't win, and Dexter Lumis will stop some kind of beatdown, and because they are big on Dexter, they had him host or draw pictures for whatever their New Year's Evil thingy. Kurt Stallion is down on the floor. Someone attacked him, and William Regal is very upset, so he yells at Escobar. That's the guy's name, and Escobar doesn't seem too concerned. And Escobar finds one of those tarot cards that Scarlett had when she was talking gibberish and moved my underwear. And Escobar laughs at the end is near line that I guess is written on the card we don't see. And then Toni Storm is cutting a promo, and she mentions history, that she actually defeated Io Shirai in the Mae Young tournament in the finals. So I like when they do that, because the fans are thinking that. We do obsess over this shit, so... but Io Shirai brawls with Toni Storm in the ring, and then Mercedes Martinez beats up Io, and Toni and Mercedes get into it because they both want to take turns holding a belt in the air, and then everybody fights, so it looks like a little three-way-ish because they had Toni and Mercedes going at it too. Tommaso Ciampa, and this is another case, actually let's go backwards, this is another case of Toni and Mercedes and Io. The whole thing was they used the Dusty Cup tournament as the vehicle to get wherever they were going. So it's not really about the Dusty tournament, Dusty Cup. It doesn't mean anything. Ciampa and Thatcher are in a warehouse on dueling chairs. And I guess they're going to be a team. And maybe they've already teamed up and beat someone, but it was on 205 Live, so no one saw it. And then Finn Balor and Kyle wrestle... Kyle O'Reilly wrestle Birch or Lorcan, NXT Tag Champions, and the faces work the arm for a bit. Kyle taps out Danny Birch a little prematurely, usually before the typical NXT 90 finish. So they had Finn look surprised. And Kyle needed it, because Finn beat Kyle twice now in a match, and it was good for the balance. Finn didn't really need it. And then, of course, Dunn comes out, and all the heels are beating up Finn and Kyle, and then the UE comes out, minus the fish guy, because he's always hurt. So there were no fish in the water there. And as the faces back off the heels. For a brief moment in time, Finn Balor stands adjacent with the three members of the Undisputed Era, and then a couple of people on the side cheered. And the Capitol Wrestling Center, they love saying Capitol Wrestling Center like it's not the PC. They're really trying to smash that into our brains. And then that was the end of it. Finn got out of line. He was in line. He was standing in a formation with the other three by accident, and he kind of bowed out of it. So they were teasing an alliance here to eventually do some kind of 4-on-3 match, unless they're bringing Pat back. I don't know. This is the last NXT before the Rumble. In years past, I don't think they did it last year either, but most years they've had NXT has the takeover with the weekend of the Rumble and Mania and SummerSlam and Money in the Bank, Survivor Series, etc., etc. And I don't think they're doing that. I don't know when the next takeover is. Maybe it'll just be some kind of random something in February to keep us going to Mania or something like that. I don't really know. Where does this leave NXT in a Royal Rumble, if any? Well, the NXT entrants are usually kind of sporadic. No one really gives them much of a chance to do much. Last year was Keith, and there with Brock on the NXT side. That was exciting. And Bianca Belair was not yet on the main roster, and she was the breakout star of the women's one. This year, who could it be? But the rumors of debuting Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest are abound, since they've both been kind of beaten up, taken off NXT. But if they're debuting as main roster wrestlers, then does that really count? I don't know. I think Karrion Kross would be an interesting one. Who else in NXT? I don't know. Raquel Gonzalez would be interesting. We've seen. I'm trying to think of people we haven't seen before in the Royal Rumble. Raquel Gonzalez would be very interesting. Kaylee Ray, has she been in it? The NXT UK champion. I still have yet to see her versus Ginny. My computer, my Adobe file thing froze 2 days ago. So as soon as I can get my network working, I will watch Kaylee Ray versus Ginny. I know the outcome already. I saw it on Twitter. NXT and NXT UK spoil their results immediately on Twitter, way before the main roster people do. So if you're ever a few hours behind on watching NXT, don't even go to your Twitter feed if you follow any of them, because they give everything away. Raw and SmackDown not so much. I think they all got other things to do. It's the hardest part of the ring. I don't know, folks. I'm hoping NXT makes a dent in the Royal Rumble. It's really hard to say because you can just declare yourself, but with NXT's non-involvement in the Survivor Series, I wouldn't be surprised if we have minimal to no NXT involvement in the Royal Rumble. If you're counting Rhea and Priest in a transition, then okay, but other than that, I bet you'll see both of them. I bet you'll see both Rhea and Priest. Rhea, like I said, is still one of my candidates in my head. I think she's one of the 5 who can possibly win it, along with Charlotte, Bayley, Bianca, and Alexa. And Bianca's a bit of a long shot. Bianca's special on the network is very good. I recommend, the network does a better job of getting everybody over than a freaking show. Jesus. The network will do something on Bianca, and then we know Bianca a little better. We like her. The network will do something on someone we barely know, like Liv Morgan they did a month ago or whenever it was. And we know Liv a little better. We like her a little more now. Keith Lee and Drew McIntyre's year and his experiences this year they've done. Bayley got to do the Stone Cold Pug. I mean, that's when they, only legends do that one. They gave Bayley a huge nod. That's better than a Bayley doc, although she's probably had a few of those too. Or I'm sure Sasha's had a bunch, but yeah, that was, her doing the Stone Cold was a way bigger deal to me. I'm sure more will come. The Yokozuna one is after the Royal Rumble. I'm very excited to see that, not only because I was a student of the Anoa'i family, but I was wrestling for, at the time I was a student, and Tuesdays and Thursdays we'd wrestle in Hazleton, and Monday and Wednesday were the Allentown classes. And because of the internet, this is October of 2000. The internet, not in its infancy really, but for your 50, 60-year-old Samoan wrestlers, the internet would be in its infancy. The students, from what I'm told, knew about Yoko's passing before he did, and inadvertently, when they gave their condolences, told him. That's how Alpha found out. That's the story I was told. That was on a Monday. I did not go to any of the if many of the Allentown classes. I was a Tuesday, Thursday, Hazleton, Pennsylvania guy. I was asleep on a park bench, not because I was homeless. I was in college. I was just sleepy. And in October in Pennsylvania, so it was probably pretty cold, and Pops woke me up. Off of the Wild Samoan woke me up. I was sleeping off a park bench right before training. And that's when I just said, Pops, I'm very sorry, and gave him a hug, and that was that. And a year later, in October of 2001, I was a security guy or whatever for the Yokozuna Memorial Show in Allentown, Pennsylvania, where we had the Acolytes, Kane, and The Undertaker, and Rikishi, of course, join us for the Yokozuna Tribute Show. I did not say hi to The Undertaker when he was I was like 6 feet away as he was talking to Alpha. And it really would have been stupid. Like, so many guys are like, gotta shake their hands, gotta say hi, gotta say hi. Yeah, but I know wrestling, you gotta say hi. Make sure you say hi to everyone in the locker room. He's talking to Pops. This is the Yoko funeral show or memorial show. Just leave him the fuck alone. And Taker doesn't want to talk to you, okay? It's not like if you're on the card with him and there was a brief moment, like a moment of you just sitting there and you just happen to be staring at each other for 2 seconds, well then yes, of course. But if there's not that moment, leave him alone. So I actually do not regret not saying hi to The Undertaker, because I would have been an embarrassing ass, and I'd be kicking myself every time I saw The Undertaker for the past 20 years. So one of my greatest achievements in wrestling was not saying hi. And Kane was another one. I think it might have been Kane and Taker at the same time, or Kane and Taker at different moments talking to Pops. I don't remember. I believe Sika was definitely at the show. It's possible that a young Roman and young Usos, who would have been adolescents at the time, it's possible they were there, and that for seconds I said hi to the guys who are now Roman Reigns and the Usos. I don't know. I may not have. I mean, it's a big family, and they're all over the place, and when you're at a wrestling show that's run by a Samoan company with a Samoan family, the Samoans are everywhere, and you don't know who's who. You say nice, and you let the kids make fun of you and beat you up or whatever. So I don't even think I said hi to Sika. I probably didn't, just because by then I was still an idiot. I was a little smart enough to know, leave them alone right now. This is especially because it's not just a show; it's a big show, and it's the memorial show. You leave everybody alone. But so Yokozuna, though, if you get a chance to watch his stuff from 93, 94, do it. Even without the network, simple YouTube, because YouTube has the wacky matches. Like with network, I think younger fans historically always go to the pay-per-views. Like, oh, okay, yeah, he did Survivor Series 94. He fought the Undertaker, and earlier that year in 94 in Rumble, he fought the Undertaker. Like, yeah, but Yoko's stuff versus Savage, and Yoko's like weird little stuff on Raw, like beating Kamala. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. And just the different types of Banzai drops he would give the enhancement talent depending on what the situation was. Yeah, definitely check that out. And you get to see Jim Cornette promos at the same time. Yay. Someone actually knows what the fuck they're doing. So, check out Yokozuna, whatever the name of the show is. Just leave the network on. That's why they do those things. You just leave it on before NBC takes over. And you're interrupted by Seinfeld, who doesn't want to be there, going, "What's the deal with the Fiend? He's on fire. He's not on fire. Who are these people?" Okay, that's the hardest part of the ring. Remember the Alamo.